Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Good. Just a minute. So guys, in our previous session, we have seen introduction to ERP. What do you mean by ERP? And also we have started with the SAP definition. We understood about what are the different job roles you can look under for SAP. That is for technical end or for functional end. And also we understood the difference between what is consultant job roles and what are end user job roles. And after that I explained you about the all other things like our registration process and about the software point of view. And I hope some of you who has registered already received the software and they are with the installation process. Those who are not at install phase need not to worry about it, because today also I will be covering the theoretical session with the introduction part to our SAP MM. So still you have got today's and tomorrow's time to start with the practical. So till that you take your time and get the software installed guys. And as I said, like if you have any issues with the software installation part, you can connect through any desk with me. I can take the access of your PC and I can resolve your issues guys. Okay, or as I said, those who are nearby to Belgium, they can travel to Belgium and get the software installed. So both options are available with you. So now today we are going to start with our SAP materials management module. So let us start with that. So before we start with materials management also, so I told like we need to understand the definition of SAP, supply chain management, SCM. Now, what is the meaning of SCM, supply chain management? I've already discussed about this in the previous session also, because it is a component of ERP, one part of ERP. So to explain you in this in simple definition, can you see guys I have put forward one simple definition here. What is this? Supply chain management includes all activities that turn raw materials into finished goods and put them into customers' hand. So whatever process is involved is starting from purchasing a raw material to manufacture some components or a product, and all the process of involving the quality inspection, storing them in the storage or packaging, then what I say dispatching, sale, transportation, that is logistics, everything is until and unless it reaches the customer's hand, all those process is involved in supply chain. It is very huge, you can say. So that's why when the SAP was developed for the first time, or in the 1970s and all, it was designed to resolve the issues of supply chain only this. It was not related with majorly accounting or HR or anything. It was majorly involved with only these activities of production, sales, and all these things like purchase, sourcing, and many other things. Right. So as I've written here, this includes sourcing, design, production, warehousing, shipping, distribution, and the main goal of SCM is to improve the efficiency, quality, productivity, and customer satisfaction. So here there are many components of supply chain guys, as you can read here, like planning, sourcing, information gathering, inventory management, logistics, and also we are going to involve the return of goods if any defectives we can get from the our customers and all. So the materials management is one part of this supply chain case, which is going to be part of inventory management, as you can see it. Ready? So what is the basic definition of MM? So if you say, so MM module is a SAP ERP component that helps organizations with managing the materials, inventory or warehouse in supply chain processes. Right? When I say managing the inventory, and that is a very complicated task if you deal with the manufacturing industries and all. So as we know that the material handling is a very important task in each and every industry, because your profit margin what is there, that is going to come with the good effective resolution to manage your inventory case. If you are making loss in managing your inventory, so then it will be lost to your entire accounting part also guys. So it is very important to manage these things in a accurate manner. So we have got SAP software which is going to help you to manage the informations and give it what whenever the data is required for you, it will be very much useful to get it in quick manner, guys. So now, when we start with this materials management, so there are a lot of transactions, so there are a lot of topics which are involved. Some few examples are like purchase orders, purchase requisitions, contracts, inventory valuation, vendor management, MRP calculations. So a lot of things are going to come, and that we are going to deal with our practical classes one by one. But before we start with that practical class, guys, as I said in previous session, that we are going to deal with what, guys? End user segment of the SAP. So it means the software which we have issued to you guys is already set up from consultant point of view. Getting? So we are all going to act like a employees of one demo company. Getting? Are you understanding this? So since we are an end user, who are end users now? The employees of a particular company. This I explained in the previous class, guys. So now we are all going to work and practice on the software as an employee of particular company, right? And what is the information? Because if I want to work on that company's information, so I should know that information well before I start with my practical. So our first thing to know is organizational structure. Okay, so the demo company which we are going to work on, so we have to understand the structure of that. Now who is going to build this organization structure, guys? In reality, as I said in the previous case, whenever you take a license of SAP, someone has to come to your company and he has to build your company structure. So who is that? The consultant implementation projects. So they are going to build it. So whenever you build in SAP the organization structure, this will be built on four levels, guys. Very important to know. This is built under four levels. Now, can you tell me the difference between four levels? Because as I've shown it in a picture, as you can see, the first and topmost level of your organization structure is always the client level. Below client, we have got company code. Below company code, we have plant, and below plant, we have storage location. So these are the four levels of a SAP MM organization structure, which is very important for us to remember. Apart from this also, we have different organization structure to take care, but from main point of view for our end user, these four are very, very important. Now, what is the difference between all these four levels that we have to understand? Now see, the if you take from company level, it is very easy for us to make a differentiate between company, plant and storage location. I hope that is understood by everyone, right? I suppose if I take an example of Tata Motors. So Tata Motors, under that they have got multiple plants all over the India, so they can develop as many plants they want, or under that plant they can develop as many storage locations they want. So this, what I say, classification is very, very easy for us to understand. But the main important thing is understand the classification between client and company. Now, how many of you know what is the meaning of client? Going with the ones who are currently working. What do you mean by client is? Who is client?
Clients who are giving the requirement to the companies.
In simple words, you can say the ones who are providing the business to your company are the clients for you, right?
Y- yes.
Simple. So customers will say. So actual meaning is of client is that only is correct. But when we develop the SAP software, the client and the company actually both are same here. Okay, so don't try to take that client as your customer. So I'll tell you a simple thing here. Let me take an example for you to explain. Anyone here currently working in any manufacturing segment? Can they just provide me the name of that company? Anyone company is random. Converse.
TCS.
Sorry, the voice got mixed up.
So current.
Yes.
Ashoka Ironworks. Okay. So Ashoka Ironworks. So this is a company basically located in Belgaum, and it is a manufacturing company, guys. Okay, it is a manufacturing company which manufactures some cast iron products like automobile components, pistons, crankshafts, and all. Let us say, okay, let us you take any example, guys. You can, that is your. Now, guys, Ashoka Iron Works, is it involved in any other business segment apart from manufacturing? Is there a registered name of Ashoka Iron Works with any other business segments? Now, Ashoka Iron Works has got multiple plants all over the Belgaum, guys. So it has got more than three, four plants are there, which are all involved in manufacturing. So suppose if Ashoka Iron Works takes the license of SAP software, so what happens, guys? Here the company code will be Ashoka Iron Works. Under that, how many plants are there, how many storage locations are there under each plant, so that I can easily classify. But how to classify the client code here? Yes. So that is where the difference comes. Now see, it is a pure manufacturing company, right? Now if I compare the same enterprise with one more thing, let us say Tata Groups, or let us say Tata Sons. Now Tata has got how many companies, guys? Can you name some few companies of Tata?
Tata Motors, TCS, Tata Motors, TCS, Tanish, Tata Salt, Marco, Tata Steels.
Correct, guys? We have n number of companies under which a Tata is registered, correct? And all are different business segments. Are they all registered under the same name? No. Every company is has given with a separate, what I say, registered name. Separate, what I say, TAN number is available with them. Separate registrations, informations, and separate financial accounting also is. They are not clubbed here, right? Now, when this type of organization takes the license of SAP, now in this, what the scenario happens here? Now when you compare these companies with these companies, so there is a very big difference, right? But both are kind of what I guess organization or enterprise, and both need SAP software for their working thing. But here, as you can see in Ashoka and Works, they are involved in only one business segment. So therefore, what happens when they want to set up the license of SAP? So the client will be also Ashoka and Works, and the company code will be also Ashoka and Works. But how many companies I can show under that client? Only one company is. So Ashoka and Work groups, Ashoka and Works Limited, and they have got multiple plants and multiple storage locations. That's it. Only one company code is. Right. But who is going to set up the information? As I said, from company level onwards, whatever is there, this is set up by consultant people, implementation project guys. But who is going to set up client? This is directly set up by the SAP company. No one can alter this information once it is set up, guys. Right? So this is set up directly from SAP company. Now, now suppose if the Tata groups take the license of SAP software, now what they can do, guys? They can build multiple company codes as they want. Yes or no? When these kind of company takes the license, even for them, the SAP can be implemented. So there what happens, guys? Tata Motors is one company code, TCS is one company code, Tata Steel is one company code, and so on. They can build as many company codes they want, and under each company code, they can define again as many plants, as many storage locations, and so on. So this is how a organization structure is built. Understood the difference, guys? What is client and company code?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So it depends upon how big is your organization. Okay. Now, when you are working for any of the company, let us say you are working for Tata, one of the company, like let us say you get hired by Tata Motors. So can you access the information of TCS, Tata Steel, Tata Chemicals also?
No.
Not possible, guys. Understanding? So even though if our company or our SAP is configured for multiple company codes, we cannot access the information of other companies, guys. We will be having limitation to access the information of only our company, which we are hired for. That you have to remember. So only the management committee who are working at Tata Group's level, only they can access the information of multiple companies, guys. Getting it? So therefore, this is what we have to understand from organization structure. So now we have taken a demo company from German point of view. Okay, so a German company we have taken. We are not named it anywhere here. I've just given a simple organization structure in terms of code names, because in our SAP when we are going to enter the information, everything will be in terms of code names only. This is what we have to remember. So as you can see here, so we have taken the information of client, company. So under that client we have taken only one company, because even if I have got multiple company codes, I can access the information of only one company. And under that company we have taken two plants, and under each plant we have taken two storage locations separately. And then at the centralized level of company, we have taken one purchase department and accounts department, for which we need some basic informations to enter the information in our system, right? And as you can see here, whenever I have taken this client code, company code, plant codes, you can see I'm not given the names here. I have everything given code names. Now why it is important for us to name in code names? Because we know that whenever we enter any informations anywhere in any system, it is always in terms of code name. So what is the actual name of plant, where it is located, what is the address, all these things we'll understand once we enter that information in the system. Now, as a part of consultant, when they are going to set up this company level onwards, right? So there are some fixed rules to provide the code names, guys. Now, when the client code is set up by SAP, so the SAP has configured in such a way that the client code should be a 3-digit alphanumeric code only. How much it has to be? It has to be 3-digit alphanumeric code base. So here right now we have taken 3-digit number only. So you can take combination of alphabets and numbers also, right? And below this, whatever the company structure is there, from here onwards you can take combination of 4-digit alphanumeric code. If you want, you can give minimum 3-digit also, or you can give maximum up to 4-digit alphanumeric codes. So company code we have taken 1000, plant 1000, plant 1200, 0001, 0002 storage locations, purchase organization 1000, purchase group T00. So what is the importance of this purchase department? You'll understand once we start the practical part, guys. Okay, I'll explain that. But right now, just everyone make a note of this organization structure, guys, because this will be our important information until and unless we finish our syllabus. Very nice. So we are going to work for this organization structure. So everyone should remember this organization information, guys. So I'll just give you 2 minutes to everyone, guys. Just make a note of this, and then we'll continue with the next part.
Completed.
Done, guys?
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Then let us continue. Now we'll come for the our first important topic of SAP MM, that we call it as source to pay or procure to pay cycle. Yes, Manoj. Any questions?
Sir, does the client code changes every time or does it stay fixed, sir?
No, guys. As I said, it is once anyone has taken the license of that, it is fixed, guys. No one can change that.
So only three digits can be entered for a client code, right?
Yes.
Beyond that, we cannot go.
We can add a 4 digit.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Now, as it is source to pay or procure to pay cycle. Now, this will be a very important topic for each and everyone. And for our first week syllabus, we'll be covering up this part itself, which is a very important thing for your interviews also, guys. So let us try to understand this: what is source to pay or procure to pay cycle. And today it will be from theoretical point of view itself, but from tomorrow onwards we will start this with the practical part, guys. So anyone here has heard about what is source to pay or procure to pay cycle? Any idea about this? Have they heard about source to pay, S2P, P2P cycle?
It is a process of raw material and to reach till its end user.
Okay. So most of them who are fresher or or those who have never come under supply chain category of work. So let me explain this process in a detailed manner. So have you heard about the word procurement at least, guys? At least
Yes,
the
sir.
word procurement.
Purchasing, sir.
Yes, guys. Very simple. So procurement means simple purchasing. So guys, in simple, when you purchase something, like let us say we are dealing with the manufacturing segment. So let us say we are purchasing the raw materials. So whenever we purchase the raw materials, so we have to make a payment to that material space which we have purchased from a particular supplier. So the process of this only, like purchasing and making a payment, is going to get involved with this procure to pay cycle or source to pay cycle. But why two names have been given here? Let us try to understand that also in a clear manner. Okay. So let us start understanding this process step by step. As I said, we are all going to assume that we are working as an employee of a particular company, and let us say we need to purchase some materials, some raw materials to our organization for some manufacturing activities. So you tell me, guys, as an employee, what will be your first step to purchase a material? What you will do, guys?
We will identify what is required to be purchased.
Yes. So identify the requirement of the materials. What is what I say? Uh, what is required to purchase the materials? Correct. Simple. Now, let me take a simple example, guys. Those who are not getting this again. So let us say you want to purchase some groceries for your home, right? So what is the first thing you do, guys, to purchase the groceries?
We'll make a list.
We list out what is required, sir.
Simple, guys. You will make a list of the requirements. But the same thing here. So what we'll do is the first step is a determination of requirements or identification of requirements. So what we will do guys here, we will prepare the list of materials, or we can call it as goods or service requirement in the organization. So who will prepare the list of these goods, services, and all these things will get in detail once we come up with the practical part, guys. Don't worry. But our main aim right now is to prepare the list of the materials required in our organization, guys. Now suppose if I make the list, what all information you are going to add in the list, guys? Like which material or which service I want, if I'm purchasing the materials and all. So let us say in how many quantities I want, by when I want this material, by again from whom I want this material information. So all these things, information I'm going to add it. Correct. So let us say once this list is ready with materials required in your organization, or let us say I'm taking an example of groceries, right? Then what you're going to do? What will be their second step?
Selection of vendor.
Fulfilling the
Selection of
requirement.
vendor. Somebody said selection of vendor. So what do you mean by vendor is?
The seller.
Seller, supplier in simple terms. Vendor means supplier, correct. So how do you select a supplier base?
Based on the quality they are given.
Correct. So let
Based
us
on
say,
Based on
hmm, yes guys, you're correct. We will select a vendor based on the quality he is providing. But let us say we are purchasing this material, whatever requirement has been raised, it is completely for a new project now. I am purchasing the material for a new project. So let us say this requirement has come for the first time, right? So how are you going to check the quality of the material the vendor is going to provide? But and the next question is, which vendor is? Or do you think your company will have existing vendor for this new materials or for this new project? Yes. Okay, let me take an example of groceries only. Let us say you have moved to some new city, okay, for your job, and you want to have the groceries, right? So now you have prepared the list of groceries. Now what you're going to do guys next? What are you going to do?
We'll see like a best quality where they are given.
So that is
will go
market.
to the market.
So do you know where market is there? Do you know from where I can get that material? So you do research about that, no guys?
Yes.
So in simple here, what I'm trying to tell is you will search for the supplier's information. Yes or no? We'll search for suppliers information.
Supplies.
So when I say groceries, simple example, what you do, you put on, like everyone has got a smartphone, so you'll search for where is a nearby DMart or a nearby Reliance Bazaar or nearby. You can ask somebody, is there any nearby Kirani shop available, right? Or you can ask anybody, like, or nowadays if you go for any metro cities, we know that the groceries are available on your fingertip, like you can order it through Instamart and or a Zepto, like everyone is there, so you can order it through online also. Yes or no? So we have got a lot of options. So this is what we are saying, that first of all you have to identify the sources of supply, from where I can get this material. So when you don't have that option, then how can you select the best vendor? Yes or no? Simple here. So what is the second step is here? Determination of source of supply. So I have to find out the sources from where I can get the material, right? So here we call it as uh, sourcing new vendors and evaluating and evaluate them. So how you are going to source? When I say source, it means you have to research about the new vendors, you have to find out the new vendors information and evaluate them based on various factors. Of course, the major factor for evaluating all the suppliers is price, quality, delivery time, and all these things you check, is right? These are common things. But there are multi more other factors based on which you are going to evaluate these vendors. And whenever you evaluate based on the evaluation result, or let us say the analysis result, you will select the best vendor of this selection of best vendor. So vendor means supplier base. So please remember. Listening guys. So what we do? We select the best vendor after evaluating all this one. Because guys, as I said, when we source or when we go for second step, determination of source of supply, we don't search for only one supplier, no guys. We search for multiple suppliers, and based on multiple suppliers we evaluate on them based on quality, price, delivery time, and so on. And after that we come to a conclusion of best one. Now let me take an example of again groceries. So you were having a list of groceries requirement. Let us say now that list of groceries contains only 1 kg of sugar. How much is? Only 1 kg of sugar. Now you tell me guys, which option do you choose from 3 to 4 list I had given? Like where you go for D-Mart, Reliance Bazaar, or you go for the nearby Kirani shop, or you go for the online shopping.
Wherever we get the less price.
Yes or no? Where you will get the less price.
Yes.
Now less price is available in the D-Mart. They are giving 2 rupees discount. Now will you go to the D-Mart and purchase that 1 kg of sugar? And let us say that
Mm,
D-Mart is 5 kilometers away from your location.
we'll check the
No,
location.
sir, we don't.
Right? So that's what I said. Like we evaluate and select the supplier here, not on only one factor base. Price is important, but price is not the only factor to be considered, guys. There are other things also, no guys. Not to just 1 kg of sugar. Who will go to DMart, sit in the line and get those all things? And I hope that at least everyone when they go for DMart, they will never come out of with 1 kg of sugar. Correct or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
हम्म, लेने गए थे 40-50 रुपए का मटेरियल, लेकिन बाहर आ गए 1000 रुपए के मटेरियल के साथ. तो ऐसा हो जाता है. So that is secondary, just this one. But let us see guys, I'm simple, I'm telling you. So here the same thing happens guys, like what we are going to look for the best thing for me. So price should be best, I should consume less time, I should get it immediately also. So those all things will say, and let us say in that scenario I have to look for the nearby Kirani shop. Most of them will go for, if let us say in front of your room only there is a small Kirani shop, you just go there and get it because a small requirement is there with you, right? Now the thing is, if I change my requirement, instead of saying I need 1 kg of sugar, if I say I have got some 30-40 list of groceries, then this, then now you'll say, sir, we'll go visit the DMart because I'll get all those things in one place and for better price, discounted price, and I can get them easily, right? So based on your requirement information, your sources are also changing, right? So so likewise, when we find out the source of supplies and when I'm evaluating them, so based on my requirements, we will evaluate them and also negotiate with those suppliers for pricing point or all those things. And then we will select the best supplier in our industry also guys. So when I say I have got a requirement of some raw materials in my company for my new project, so I'm going to evaluate those vendors. I'll first of all collect the information from various ways, from online or through market research or various other things. And once I collect the information, I will contact them, I will collect the quotations, and I will evaluate them based on price, quality, delivery time, and so on, many other factors, and then select the best who gets in line with my terms and condition. Yes or no? Now you say that you have got a vendor selected. Now vendor's information is available and ready to provide you the material. Now, how you are going to start your process of purchasing this? Because now you have done with all the process of selecting the vendor. Now, supplier information is ready with you. Now, you have to purchase this requirement information from that vendor base, right? So, how we are going to start your purchase activities?
By making a deal or an agreement.
Yes, guys. The first thing is that we have to go for contracts. So we call it as contract management. So once the vendor is selected, that does not mean that directly I will go with and deal all the informations with him. So first of all, I have to make a contracts or agreements with him where I can put forward all the terms and condition agreed between both the parties, and then I can start my actual purchase activities. Okay. So let us say we have signed a contract also. Next, how do you start your purchase activities?
Making a making a purchase order.
Exactly, guys. So now once this all contracts and are all signed, now whenever you have got a requirement of the materials, you have to place a order. So when I say you need to place a order, so you are going to create a purchase order. So how many of you have heard about purchase order, guys? Yes. Normally, when we go for all B2P kind of transactions, I hope everyone knows what is B2B. B2B means business to business transactions. Okay, so whenever we go for business to business transactions, we will create a purchase order to purchase the material from our respective supplier. The same thing if you go for B2C transaction, that is business to customer, we don't call purchase order, as we call it as sales order. So please remember the difference. This is going to come in our interview preparation class also, right? So that is a part of SD sales part, but right now we are dealing with the purchase activity, so we will say purchase order. The main aim here is to purchase the material whatever we have requirement. So whether it is raised by a customer or it is raised by one more business, that depends upon the classification or differentiation. Now let us say I have created a purchase order. So what information I'm going to add in this purchase order? All our requirement information. So whatever the list I have prepared now, so I'm going to put that list in this document, and whatever terms and conditions we have agreed in this contract with this vendor, even all those terms and conditions, price, all these things we will add it in the purchase order case. And once I add this information in the purchase order, as an employee, I cannot directly send to the vendor base, right? So what will happen here? We have to take approval of this document, take approval of PO, and then we will release it to the vendor, that is selected vendor. Understanding is, we will release it to the vendor. It's because approval process is a very important task in each and every implementation process in our company, guys. I hope those who are working already they know about the approval process. Now even if I want to what I say, take a document from one department to another department in our company, so I have to take approval of my higher authorities, whoever is the head of that department or our team lead or our manager, whoever is there. So I have to take approval of from him, and once he gives me the approval, then I will release it to the next person or the next department. That is the same here. So if I want to purchase the material from the vendor, so I'll prepare a list of that and create a PO. But as an employee of the company, I cannot take all the decisions. So I have to take approval from my higher authorities and then release it to the vendor once they provide the approval. Understood? Understood,
Yes, sir.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now my next question is, after releasing the document that is PO to the vendor, is my purchase or is my order placed? Is the process of placing an order is completed? Yes, no,
No.
no. Then what is the remaining case?
Still they need to approve also.
Sorry.
Vendor need to approve that release depend.
Your voice I'm unable to hear. End up with what? End up with approval.
Yes, sir. That vendor need to approve that. No, sir.
Correct case. So vendor also has to approve, no case. So you have approved from your end as a buyer. So whatever steps we are doing here, it is all from the buyer point of view. So we have as a buyer, we have created the purchase order, we have approved from our end, and we have sent it to the vendor. But has vendor approved that document to give you the material? No, no. Is. So what is that called as? That is called as order confirmation. In simple activity, guys, like when you go for online shopping, everyone has done one or the other shopping on the Amazon, Flipkart, and all. So whenever you place your order, guys, at the end, after selecting your payment mode, you're selecting your address, and lastly, when you say place order, do you get a confirmation message from that supplier, guys, that your order is confirmed and you'll receive in 2 to 3 working days?
Yes,
You
sir. We
receive a
get one.
So what is that? That is called as order confirmation. And once you receive that message, then you can say that your order is confirmed. Otherwise, not at all. Guys. Your order is not confirmed. Okay. So it is very important that once we release the document to the vendor, we have to wait for take vendor or take the uh, order confirmation, or we can call it as order acknowledgement also, order confirmation from the vendor. So it is our activity that once we place the purchase order and send to vendor, we have to take up the follow up with the vendor and take the order confirmation from him. So once we receive the order confirmation that he has accepted the PO, because whatever the terms and conditions, whatever pricing informations we have added, right, whether all terms and conditions are accepted by him also. So once it is all done, when it is confirmed, then he will say that he will dispatch the material and he will receive the material in 4 to 5 working days, 10 working days, or 130 days working days, whatever, depending upon how far the material has to be transported, or whether it is a local business transaction or whether it is the international business transaction. So based on that, you will receive a material delivery as per the delivery time given. Okay. Then we can say order is confirmed. So what next is? So once the vendor has given the what I say confirmation, then it is our task to follow up with the uh, material delivery, or follow up with the vendor for material delivery. I can call it as process and track it. Okay. So what do you mean by this, guys? So what do you mean by taking the follow-up with the vendor? So sometimes it happens that in real working world, we are not going to receive the material as per the delivery time. Sometimes it might be received earlier, sometimes it might be received a bit late because of some issues during transportation, or whatever it might be. Or might be that vendor might have not or vendor might not do not have the stock available right now. He's saying it will be delayed, status will be delayed, and the same thing we have to take up continuous follow-up, because as per whatever our client has given the information that he wants the material by so and so date, so we have to keep in track with that and follow up the vendor base for material delay. And if any delays happen, so we have to same thing inform to our client and be in line from both the parties base and try to get the material as soon as possible, right? So we have to track it. Same thing as you track it on Amazon, you get a tracking ID and you track. Okay, same thing here also. So once we, let us say, receive the material, what we are going to do?
Verification.
what will be our step is, once we receive the goods, what we are going to do next? So here
We
we have to update that information, update the goods received info in goods receipt node, which in short called as GRN. Has anyone heard about GRN, guys? Goods receipt node,
yes, sir.
or you can even call it as goods received node. So whenever we receive the materials, guys, we have to update the information about that in our company's document called as goods receipt node. And once we create this, in this we will update the information like whether they are in good condition, defective condition, block condition, whatever it might be. So we'll update that information in that. And if anything has to be returned back to vendor, everything we will return it from this information itself. And once it is created, guys, we have to create a copy and send a copy of GRN to vendor also. Why guys? Why it is important? Because how the vendor will get to know, guys, that you have received the material? As a buyer, I have to provide a confirmation to the supplier, no guys, that I have received the material. And when I say that I have received the material, in which condition I have received, so all that information will be tracked under GRN. So a copy of this has to be given to the vendor also, guys. So once the vendor gets the information that the buyer has received the materials in whatever condition it is, so let us assume that right now it is in good condition. Now what guys next? What is the next thing? So next, here what supplier will do? Supplier will release the invoice. Getting it? So as a buyer, we will receive the invoice. And what is our task now? Once we receive the invoice, it is our task that we have to go for invoice verification. Is it important to do invoice verification, guys, as a buyer or no?
It is.
Right? So even when you go for normal shopping or whenever out to any hotels, so I hope that everyone cross verifies your bill. Invoice is nothing but a bill, right guys, for whatever material you have purchased or services you have received. So invoice is a copy for, so whenever as a buyer we receive, we will cross verify all the informations in that, because I have to make a payment. And if any mismatches are there, we will rectify that by telling to the supplier. And then once the invoice is verified, we will end up our process with the last stage of payment. Correct guys? So these steps which I have told is part of what we call as S2P or P2P cycle. Have you understood this? Was that easy to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now once you have understood this, let me put one more question in front of you. So as I said that we had got a new project, and as per that we have made a list of our materials requirement, and then we sourced the new vendors, we selected the vendor, we signed the contracts, we placed the order, received the materials, received the invoice, did the invoice verification, and we have completed the payment also. Let us say after 2 to 3 months, again the stock has been finished. The stock has been depleted. Let us say we don't have much stock available right now. So again, I have got a requirement of same material for same project. So again, the requirement list will be ready. But when this the requirement list will be ready for the second time onwards, are you going to follow all the steps once again, guys?
No, we're
No, sir.
not following the same order.
No, sir.
Now, what you are going to do from second time onwards, guys? Then
Just we have to
Start with
place an order.
step four, contract management.
Yes.
From
So
my
from
side is
second time
also
onwards, when you say that I want the uh, vendor for my for the materials requirement, so already you have selected the vendor previously. Already you have signed the contract with that vendor. Correct or no? So from next time onwards, whenever you have a requirement of the materials, I will directly go for fifth step, guys. That is placing an order, taking the follow-up from the vendor for material delivery, receiving the materials and updating GRN, okay, receiving the invoice from the vendor, doing invoice verification, and lastly payment, guys. So this process henceforth will be regular process, guys, because selecting the vendor, doing contract is not a regular process. That is one time process. Yes or no? So if you involve only placing the order on a regular basis, this process is called as P2P cycle, that is procurement to payment cycle, P2P cycle. And suppose if you involve everything from source to pay, that is you start your process from sourcing the new vendor, selecting the best vendor out of that and doing all these things, then we call it as source to pay cycle. Understood the difference?
yes.
Understood, guys? So sometimes we can classify S2P as combination of S2C plus P2P also, because we know that whatever step is there from fifth step to last step, it is a part of P2P, guys. Okay, which is a procurement cycle. We will deal with only purchase activities here, placing the order and getting the invoice and making payment activities, guys. But if you involve these steps, that is finding out the requirement information up to contracts management, we call it as S2C also, source to contract, right? And this is one time process only. And after that, we go for this case. So S2P involves everything, and P2P is part of that case. Now to explain this in again detailed manner, so I have put a chart in front of you here. I hope you can get this one very easily. So what is the difference? As you can see here, initially, we will start with our process of requirement of the materials and doing spend analytics, we call it as. Then we source the vendors, we select the vendor and we make a contract, place the order, receive the materials, do the invoice verification, and lastly end with the payment. Now suppose if you say that initial spend analytics to contract management, which is called source to contract, and next process of ordering and making a payment is called as purchase to pay cycle, which I have explained in a detailed manner. And including both, it contributes to source to pay cycle. Understanding? This is a simple difference between S2C, P2P, and S2P cycle. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, understood.
Yeah. Now, suppose if anyone asks you in the interview, guys, because it's a common question asked in multiple interviews, what is the difference between S2P and P2P cycle? How can you explain this in one single line answer? Yes, guys. If you have understood the difference, can anyone just tell me what is the difference between P2P and S2P in one single line? Okay. See it. Let me put in. So as you can see here, when we have requirement of the materials case. Now suppose you already have the vendor for that material in your company. Vendor exists. What you do, guys? You create a PO, you create GRN, you create invoice verification report and payment. That is called as P2P cycle. Now whenever you have requirement of the material and your vendor does not exist in the company, then what you do? You find the new supplier, select the best supplier, and then you do the P2P cycle once again, which is contributing to S2P cycle. So how can we explain the difference, guys? Simple, you say. So whenever we have a requirement of material, if vendor exists, we go for P2P cycle. If vendor does not exist, we go for
S2P cycle.
simple. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Was that simple? Any confusion here? Not understanding anything? Let me know, guys. Okay. One last question, guys. Can anyone just answer this one? Is P2P part of S2P or S2P is a part of P2P?
P2P is a part of S2P.
Everyone.
P2P is part of S2P.
S2P.
First one or second answer? P2P is part of S2P.
S2P.
So I hope everyone is confident enough with that answer. If they understood the process, what I explained, you can answer this question very easily, guys. Right? So P2P is part of S2P. So the answer is in front of you only, guys. Here only I said. You can see. So S2P cycle is the entire process. In that, one part is P2P. So P2P is part of entire S2P cycle, guys. Got or no? Done. So this is what I wanted to convey for today's class, guys. So I hope everyone has understood the P2P and S2P cycle very clearly. So our first week syllabus, guys, will be starting with only P2P cycle. I will be not explaining with respect to directly from sourcing, guys, because sourcing is a majorly theoretical session which goes with lot of activities what we have to understand. But before that, we'll understand our day-to-day task. As I said, sourcing is not day-to-day task. Day-to-day task is releasing order, getting materials, receiving it, creating the documents, or doing invoice verification payment. So for this only we'll take 1 week of time or more to complete the syllabus, guys. So once we understand this P2P cycle, then I will move forward of providing the S2P, or in that sourcing only, because S2P in that part we have covered P2P. So only how to get with the source to contract. So that we will understand in the next part, guys. Okay, and this cycle, guys, S2P and P2P cycle will be major job roles what you are going to apply after completing the course, guys. So this will be very important topics. Yes, Manoj.
So you said about contract management, right, sir? The if the contract management, the period of contract is completed, where should we start there?
So we can renew the contracts, or we can say that we can look for the new vendors if that vendor is not providing you, vendor is not
Okay,
providing
so
the materials. We can go for new vendor, but again we have to start from sourcing only, not in that case.
suppose we should renew the contract, sir.
That's what. If the renew contract is there, then we'll go with P2P cycle only. Continue with the P2P cycle. Only whatever terms and
Okay,
conditions
sir.
we want to update or any price changes are there, update that information,
Okay.
and once again continue with the same vendor.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Got it, guys? Yes, so we will deal with all the, because whatever steps I have shown you today, guys, again they are not in complete depth, guys, again. But just to understand the overall process, we have taken this. But once we understand each and every topic, we'll understand the all the topics in depth when we start with the practical part, guys. So till then, you have got time to just go through this. I'll share the PDF notes also, guys, of this one and the previous class. Please go through that. And if you got any doubts, we'll see in the tomorrow session, or else we can directly start the practical part, guys. Then, guys, any more questions?
Sure.
That, guys. So we'll conclude here for today. We'll meet again tomorrow at